Hello and welcome to the Grubsters book club. Today we are discussing our second book of the year, the June-July read, which was Lily and the Octopus by Steven Rowley. We got a lot of submission notes for this discussion, so I'll keep my own short and then read out the submissions that we got for this book. This book was incredibly hard for me to read because it hit so close to home. For those of you who don't know, we lost our dog Betty to a brain tumor. And like Ted with Lily, we had to make the difficult decision of letting her go because there was no positive outcome in our case. There was no cure, there was no treatment possible, and she was given only 3 weeks to live. There's a particularly vivid passage where Ted describes Lily having a seizure, saying her little body shakes uncontrollably and all I can do is hold her and whisper that it's going to be okay. That moment was so hard for me to read because it took me right back to Betty's first seizure, and anyone that has experienced a seizure on their pet, it's horrible. It's very terrifying and you feel helpless. I did enjoy the whole personal side of Ted's, of the main character, and his love life and his relationships and those little moments that he had with Lily, where they play Monopoly and they do all these silly things together. I thought that was a very tender side to that, with the fact that he sort of withdrew himself from social life and realizes that once Lily passes away, and then gets back into, I guess, a healthier social life for him. I did enjoy some passage of the books, like the boat journey, which to me felt a bit confusing. I wasn't sure if it was really happening or if it was a dream. It left me a bit confused and it pulled me out of that emotional care of the story and disrupted the flow a bit. But ultimately I felt that the author really succeeded in sharing how hard it is to say goodbye to a pet. The farewell scene in the book is beautifully written and almost unbearable. So although it was a difficult book for me to read, it was also a very cathartic experience, and it made me appreciate the bond that we share with our pets and the profound impact they have on our lives. So if you ever loved or lost a pet, this book will touch your heart in ways you can't even imagine, despite some of the most fantastical elements of the books that might not resonate with everyone. Now on to your own reviews. This one is from Sarah, and she says, "Hey everyone at the Grubsters book club. I just finished the June-July book in time for my review. This book is such an emotional roller coaster. Ted, the main character, has the most beautiful relationship with his dog Lily. I loved when Ted says, 'We don't remember days, we remember moments,' because it's so true, especially when it comes to our pets. The way Rowley writes about Lily's octopus, it's heart-wrenching, but also filled with moments of humor and hope. I laughed and cried, sometimes in the same chapter. If you're looking for a story that's touching, this is the one. Plus, it'll make you want to hug your pets extra tight. As someone who recently lost my own dog Sammy, this book really resonated with me and reminded me of all the special moments we shared." Oh Sarah, I'm so sorry you lost Sammy. Thank you for sending through that review. I do love that saying too. We don't remember days, we remember moments. Next on is a review from Amy. She gave the book 3 stars. "I listened to Lily and the Octopus as an audiobook. The person who read the story made it very engaging and easy to listen along to. As I began listening and heard the use of the word octopus, I could only assume it was referring to cancer. I thought that was clever, especially the parts where it would hide an attack out of nowhere. A few chapters in, and I already knew this book was going to make me cry a lot. Being a Dachshund owner myself, I just felt like I could relate somewhat to Lily's owner. Even though I haven't experienced the same life events they have together, it's always a constant fear. Chapter 7 was when Lily had her first seizure. I groaned out loud when it came out. I cannot recall what chapter, but there was a part when the owner got a tattoo. I can totally relate to that sudden desire to get one. When our first fur baby passed away, our ragdoll cat, I knew that was going to be my first tattoo, and I got it on my inner ankle. I also know that means that all the other beautiful pets I have currently gracing my life will be a future tattoo, although I try not to think about that too much. I listened to the audiobook really quick and often while driving, so I didn't make too many other notes, but one part of the story I didn't like was the ocean boat journey. I figured it was some bigger meaning than an actual journey he took with Lily on the boat, but it kept going on and then just became totally unrealistic. This lessened my opinion of the overall story. Once that was over though, and we were back to regular programming, if you will, I fell back in love with the story. Although my heart was absolutely breaking when it came time to make the awful decision so many of us pet owners have to make. I thought the comment about needing someone to tell him that he was making the right choice and the answer of "you are making the compassionate choice" was spot on. Having to decide to say goodbye to our beloved cat was the hardest choice we had to make, and we had no idea if it was the right or wrong choice at the time. Would it have been fair on her to try our hardest to keep her alive, resulting in lifelong treatment just because we weren't ready to say goodbye? Of course, any loving pet owner makes that compassionate choice. Overall, I thought the story was relatable and touching. Regardless of what animal you own, they bring a companionship and love to your life like no other, and this story really does speak of that bond and how hard it is to let go physically, but never mentally. I love that. I see I'm not the only one that had a difficult time with the whole boat journey part of the book. Finally, we have a review from Jessica, and she says, "So I just finished Lily and the Octopus by Steven Rowley, and honestly, it didn't quite hit the mark for me. While I appreciate the unique approach of using the octopus as a metaphor for Lily's illness, I found the narrative a bit too whimsical and over the top at times. The dialogues where Ted imagines the octopus speaking just felt a little forced and took me out of the story. The emotional moments, while poignant, sometimes felt a bit melodramatic. I guess I was looking for a more grounded and straightforward story about a man and his dog. If you enjoy magical realism, you might like it more than I did, but it wasn't my cup of tea." So thank you so much for sending through your reviews, and please don't hesitate to add some more in the comments as well if you have read the book. And then keep an eye on your mailbox. I'll leave a link down below for you to sign up to the Grubster book club if you haven't already, but keep an eye on your emails, and we'll be sharing the third book of the year for the month of August and September. Until next time, happy reading!